Okay. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Certain portions of it may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Decisions made and discussed in closed session will be made known to the public at a later time. All contracts awarded by mayor and council must comply with the affirmative action requirements of PL 1975 C-127. Fire exits are located in the directions I'm indicating. If you are alerted for fire, please move in a calm, orderly manner to the nearest smoke-free exit. Notice to members of the governing body and borough staff. Any use of electronic devices during the meeting shall be used solely for the purposes of borough business, and any communications are subject to the Open Public Records Act. Andrew, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Here.
Councilman Connolly.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Present.
Councilman Cigarella.
Here.
Councilman Ravina.
Here.
Councilwoman Baloma.
Here.
Mayor Cigarella.
Here.
All present, Mayor.
Andrew, please lead us in the opening prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Eternal God, grant us thy help in all our duties and perplexities. We ask for thy guidance. Give us thy protection in our dangers and sorrows. Grant us thy peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, there are no communications for consideration this evening. We do, however, have a proclamation and a presentation. So I'd like to have the Diversity Inclusion Committee come up, and Councilman Johnson as the liaison, if you don't mind. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to say, somebody put this down for the mayor, which I appreciate, but I'm not that small. I guess I could put it up a little bit. Okay. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I'm so proud of the transformation that I've seen over the Diversity Inclusion Committee over the past 3 years now? Yeah, 3 years now. Starting with now Councilman Johnson as the chair, continued by you guys who've just done an amazing work, and your continued leadership as a liaison. So last month, we celebrated Black History Month. This month, we're proud to celebrate women and women's history. So we have the Diversity Inclusion Committee here to represent that. Obviously talk about some other issues tonight too, but figured I'd start off on a positive note. So whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways, and whereas American women have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of life of the nation by constituting a significant portion of the labor workforce inside and outside of the home, and whereas American women have played a unique role throughout the history of the nation by providing the majority of volunteer labor force in the nation. American women were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our nation, and whereas American women of every race, class, ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change and movement, and whereas American women have served our country courageously in the military, and whereas American women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, civil rights movement, and other movements, especially the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all. Now, therefore, be proclaimed that I, Joe Signorello, Mayor of the Borough of Roselle Park in the County of Union in the State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim March 2022 as Women's History Month within the Borough of Roselle Park in an effort to bring greater recognition to the critical roles and accomplishment of women in our society. Diversity and Inclusion Committee, would you guys like to say anything? No pressure.
On behalf of the women of Roselle Park and on our diversity committee, we say thank you, and we're honored to have this. Thank you so much.
And you missed it, but I said you guys were doing a great job before, so. And we got you more budget this year, probably. Did you guys want to stay up for the second presentation, or did you want to sit down, or how did you want to do it?
I can sit down.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So then I'm just going to move this over, right? And then you can just pop over there.
I'll take the mic.
Okay.
So good evening, Mayor and Council. So my name is Chris Monroe. I'm the chair of the Diversity Committee and Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Basically, when I took on the chair position, the one goal I wanted to do, especially with Roselle Park, is do things that will definitely bring our town more so together. Our councilman, Greg, will tell you a little bit more about some of the activities and events that we have coming up. But especially like with the youth, we definitely want to start there. But we also have some things that we want to do with the adults as well to help bring us all together. So while doing this, last month and with Black History Month, we thank you for the proclamation again. It hurt us because we received an email from one of the residents, and I want to just read, our statement on as far as what happened. A Roselle Park resident reached out to us to expose multiple racist verbal attacks at her home. Our neighbor proudly displayed banners celebrating Black History Month on her property, celebrating Black History Month on her property. One group caught on video is calling out the N-word while looking at her property. And another group laughed and degraded the idea of Black Lives Matter. As a community, acts like this should not and will not be tolerated, and we will continue to fight hate at every turn. No resident, regardless of their background, should be harassed in any form. As a community, we need to stand up to hate and come together to celebrate our diversity. We as the Diversity and Inclusion Committee do not condone actions like this, and we will continue to work hard for all residents to feel respected and inclusive while living here. I had a conversation with this resident, and I just want to read, something that she said to me after reaching out to her. She said, "Thank you. It will be great to have the town aware of this, and hopefully they'll start making positive changes. I really love this town since we moved here 2 years ago, and I've met some great people so far. But now I'm honestly considering if we should sell or move, especially since I'm about to be a mom in May. I've seen the guys pass by a few times to go up to Westfield Avenue. One stands out because he has red hair." Okay, I don't want to go into the description of the person, but I just want to just make the statement that, she moved here because she felt like this town was great. That's the reason why my family moved here. We see the potential and the greatness of this town. And I know, the Bible says, love thy neighbor. I know a lot of people have an issue with the word love, but we should at least be able to respect each other and respect everybody, like no matter where they come from, their nationality, their sexuality, or whatever. We should definitely come together and be able to at least respect each other. I know she's gonna probably kill me for putting this out there, but I had a conversation with somebody in Roselle Park, which is Andrea Dick. Now, she was put out to be as one of the most racist people in the town that I was told. So I sat with her one-on-one, and we had a 2-hour conversation. We had differences, and we, agreed on some things. But I just want to say, if I was able to sit down with her one-on-one, I never met her in life. We reached out, we were able to get a meeting, and we talked. If I was able to do that, a lot more people should be able to do that. You know what I mean? We should all just be able to just come together and do something. So with the mayor and council, hopefully in the next few months, we could come together and come up with some ideas that we can do together with the committee for things in the town, especially when it comes to our Black residents. Is about, I think we said it's about 8% of us as a town right now, and 8.8%, and that's definitely growing. Oh, before I go, also definitely have to thank the chief also for reaching out to the resident. Also, they spoke, and she was definitely grateful about that. She definitely feels more safer and protected.
Well, we're going to thank the chief. We also got to thank Andrew, because I reached out to Andrew, and Andrew immediately notified the chief and at the COP officers to come make her feel welcome. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. That's definitely. So that definitely we want to get together and with you guys and maybe reach out to everybody that's in your wards to every black neighbor that's in your ward to maybe just talk to them, have a conversation, seeing how they feel going forward, so we can definitely make everything more comfortable.
So I just want to say the reason why, and I want to let Greg do most of the talking because this is his show, and he's responsible for a lot of the much more proactive nature we see out of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. When I first became mayor, we have all these committees, and a lot of them just like get together and like complain about this, that, and whatever else. And I think the first time when I had the diversity committee as it stood then, we didn't really have a mission. And you guys have a clear mission now and are clearly responsive. So, from top to bottom, and you guys, we don't get paid a ton as mayor and council, but you guys don't get paid any for this work. You do this purely out of love and devotion for the community. So I want to thank you guys for making sure that we're aware of this, because we can't react without that, right? That's how we do what we do. I want to commend the police department, chief, professional as always. It warms my heart to see that we were responsive. Andrew, just quick anecdote before I kick it over to Greg. I was doing Read Across America last night at Sherman School, and I was looking at all the diverse faces and the diverse families that we have in Roselle Park. And I feel so blessed to have gone to Sherman School and to have been raised in New Jersey, one of the most, diverse states in the nation. And honestly, Brooklyn and this area, we are some of the most diverse melting pots in the world, period. And I've seen this. I've seen this throughout my life and my career as I've traveled places. Growing up in this area, being exposed to different cultures, exposed to different folks, has made me a broader person, given me broader perspectives. And I want to say clearly that is something that, as a state in New Jersey, we should be proud of and embrace. And as a borough of Roselle Park, everybody here, I will speak for council, saying we do embrace and we do not condone these actions, and we are there to respond. I just encourage the Diversity and Inclusion Committee to continue doing your part, to let us know when we need to act on something, and the people of Roselle Park to make sure we will always have an open door to make sure that you feel safe and welcome here, because I can assure you, from mayor down, you do feel welcome here, and you will be treated with respect and dignity as you deserve to be, period.
Absolutely.
Round of applause now. Great.
Thank you, Mayor. I digress. But Chris, I think you guys are doing great, and I think the main thing is just awareness. I think oftentimes that we are nervous or scared about discussing things like that, and that's the only way we're going to be able to mend these bridges and to move forward as a community. Quite frankly, I agree with the mayor. We are a very diverse community. I think for the most part we do our best with respecting one another, but we just got to continue to try to do so. We all have a little bit of unconscious biases, and we need to take a second to check them before we start speaking with rational thought. So I just want that resident to know that she has my support, and I know she has the community support. And we're not trying to make anyone feel left out, because the whole purpose of diversity and inclusion is in the definition of the name, inclusion. So everyone's cultural differences should be respected. Like when we celebrate different holidays, and this one shouldn't be any different. And so people should be mindful where they are in their surroundings. So I share that, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. And like I said, you got Greg. You guys always have a direct connection to me, and that goes for anybody watching. And I'll put something about my Facebook too. Don't be shy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yep. Feel like Jeb Bush. Please clap. May I have a motion to, okay, thank you guys for being here once again. May I have a motion to approve meeting minutes pending corrections?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion that bills and payrolls be not read and passed for payment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to open the public portion on agenda items only?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If you'd like to speak, please come forward to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Okay, I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public portion on agenda items only?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's start off with Andrew, so I don't forget you.
Thank you, Mayor. A few quick things on the agenda, and then I'll just do my general report, just because I received some questions about certain things on the agenda. So Resolution 87-22, this involves bulk waste pickup. I know there's a lot of discussion. I think I spoke to almost every member of the governing body separately about this resolution. I know Suburban Disposal is nobody's favorite contractor at this stage of the game. The truth of the matter is we haven't had a ton of issues with them involving bulk. Typically, recycling is the biggest issue we have with Suburban Disposal. But all that being said, we did have 3 separate vendors pick up specs for this project for the 2022 waste. Unfortunately, only 1 bid, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. Not least of which is just the method about and the manner in which Roselle Park picks up bulk waste. But in an effort not to digress too much on that, I did want to note that we did have 3 vendors pick up bid packages, 2 declined to bid. Resolution 92-22, I wanted to make a note that this award actually saves the borough a little more than $18,000 a year. A lot of times we talk about outsourcing services. Well, this is a situation where we're actually insourcing services, where we're taking some things back, and I want to highlight Superintendent Biamonte and the DPW for taking on the task of quite frankly, just cutting more grass than they do right now, and that saves us some territory in terms of what we're contracting out to a vendor. We have the equipment. It needs to be tuned up a little bit, and I think we're already working on that, and we're going to save some money, which is a good thing. And then Resolution 98-22, I think that I talked to a couple members of the governing body, so I assume that some members of the public have questions about it. This is an expansion of managed IT services. So this managed IT vendor we've had for probably close to a decade, if not more. This just expands it to include email service management. Unfortunately, we're dealing with so many things in the aftermath of our previous vendor's unfortunate passing, one of which was email service management. This includes a $1,100 fee per month for comprehensive email service management, in addition to the other managed IT services across the borough. So that's why this resolution is on, because though it is not a contract that is biddable, and it's exempt from public bidding, it does exceed the bid threshold, so it requires governing body action. So I just wanted to clear the air on that, and I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has in the future. 3 quick things, all involving the budget. Working with the CFO, have had several meetings with departments about the upcoming municipal budget. We're talking very initially about things, and I know a Finance and Administration Committee will be in the works very soon, so I know members of the governing body that are on that committee, heads up, it's coming. We're working on initial phases of the 2022 capital budget. I've had dialogues with the special project engineer Neglia about getting estimates or revised estimates for 2022 projects. We're looking at early spring to remobilize projects that had to stop because of the onset of winter. This applies specifically to Valley Road, Filbert Street, Walnut Street, and the 2021 sidewalk program that was funded. Something I want to note on the capital side, I touched on it at the last meeting where I gave a more comprehensive update. CDBG funding, we did see an increase of federal funding this year across the county. I'm happy to say that the preliminary allocation for the Roselle Park was approved at the February 18th meeting, the amount of $225,000. That will actually go to offset a project on Webster Avenue that cost $275,000. So that's an over 80% funding rate, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I thank the Revenue Sharing Committee at the county level for approving that preliminary allocation. It'll end up going to a public hearing and then ultimately the County Commissioner Board for their final approval. The last thing that I want to note, again, it's all about budget. There is a bill pending in the legislature. I've updated the governing body multiple times, S330. This would return a large amount of money to municipalities across the state. We've done so it's working its way in kind of preliminary steps through the Senate Appropriations Committee. They voted in favor of it. It's a bipartisan bill, sponsored by Union County senators and senators ranging all the gamut, Republican, Democrat, from Ocean County to Union County, right? So preliminary estimates, and again, very preliminary, it would return about $1.1 million to the Borough of Roselle Park if approved. It would be phased in over the course of 2 to 5 years. We're not sure where that will land, if it does land. But it's very good news for Roselle Park if it gets adopted and signed into law by the governor. So there'll be more to come on that in the very near future, hopefully. And that's all I have, Mayor.
First off, bummed you mentioned that because it would have just been a nice surprise, and if it doesn't happen, now everybody's going to be disappointed. So, thank you for
Well, your
raising
senators.
raising the bar there. Yeah, fair enough. The one thing I do want to just put a little bit of water on that, and you also stole Ken's thunder because Ken's supposed to give the good news, if anything, on that, right?
I don't give a lot of good news.
It is something that we probably won't be able to bake into the initial budget if I understand correctly, Ken. So should we be lucky enough to get, this is not insignificant money to the municipal side of things, right? We haven't seen an increase in state aid in 15 years? Yeah. So this would add potentially, if the calculations are right, an additional 1.1 to our run rate state aid, which means every year we get to use that, which means, we are going to put that right back into property tax relief. I will commit that right now, and I've already talked to you about it. I know, you guys are sweating, but we're going to have to do it. That's the purpose of this. I think the history of it is, Andrew, you want to just give it, I just thought it was interesting, the history of these funds that are coming back. One more time, really short version.
Sure. I'll be really short. So it's called the energy receipts tax. So long ago, the municipalities would collect directly a surcharge off of gas and electric bills, similar to the franchise fee from Comcast and Verizon that we received directly from those entities. The state ultimately enacted a law where they collected the money and then they would route it to the municipalities. Well, lo and behold, the money stopped coming to municipalities at some point and funded state programs. So this would reroute funds back to municipalities in a way that hasn't been seen since 2001.
So should we see, thank you. So should we see an uptick in state aid, we would have to pass an initial budget and then revise that budget potentially? Yeah, right. So
That's the initial
theory.
way the theory is right now.
Yeah. I mean, we are still going to try and we've been very, very, I think, tight and conservative with our budgets over the past 3 years. Good job, Council President Petrosky. And we're going to try and do that again this year, but, we hope to see this uptick for the back end of this year and going forward. So what an excellent segue to have the CFO speak now. Any update for us, Ken?
Just that we're working on the budget. Andrew and I meet with some of the departments. We're going to meet with a few more and then get a committee meeting scheduled to further discuss with the committee. And the goal is to, depending on what goes on with the state law, but we would like to introduce, as we normally do, the first meeting in April and adopt the first meeting in May. But timelines have not been changed right now based on this new potential law. So, but as it stands now, they want it to be basically used to just reduce taxes. So make your budget as lean as possible, and then whatever money you will get will reduce taxes even further. So that's how it stands now.
Do you think, and I haven't seen this, but I know there was some flexibility introduced due to COVID, but do you think that there's a chance where they extend timelines?
They may because of this, but as of Andrew, I see him shaking his head no. He probably knows more than I do on the political end of it. But no, it's they basically want it to be directly used to reduce taxes.
Yep.
So.
Good. I agree with the spirit of that 100%. Okay, thanks, Oz. Let's do Director Shah. Really formal. Director Shah tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to keep it short. Trust me.
Good.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to report that activities at the center are well attended. That includes all exercise classes, bingo, grab and go lunch program, shopping trips, casino trips, and transportation for seniors. We just received a confirmation from the county that they'll be delivering hot meals starting next month. So we'll be serving hot meals Tuesday to Friday at noon. I'm also pleased to report that our community food pantry was able to assist more than 300 residents during the pandemic. Thanks to our residents, United Methodist Church, West End Community Center, and the business community for their generous donation, and Roselle Park School District for their help reaching out to qualified students and their families in the free and reduced lunch program. On Saturday, March 12th, the Borough will be hosting the annual St. Patrick's Day celebration at the Casino Center from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. There will be a live music and free food. There's going to be a lot of dance and whatnot. So thanks to Sunrise Diner for donating the food and Union County Board of Commissioners for the heart grant. I also like to report that after the success of last year, New Jersey Mobile Unit will be visiting the borough 8 times this year. They will be offering their services every month starting April 7 until November 9. Registration is open and is limited to 40 customers. More details are available on our borough Facebook page. The Health and Wellness Committee has been meeting for the past 2 months and plan to host a health fair in the month of April. Invitations has been sent to all the medical groups and organizations. I will share more details as we get close to the event. On March 10, Westfield Health Department will be having a vaccine clinic for the ages 5 to 11. The event will take place at Community Center from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the County Mobile Unit will be visiting the borough on March 9 and March 30 at Michael Murray Park for vaccine and booster shots. Registration for all this event is not required. However, it's highly recommended, and more details available on our Facebook page as well. For the past 2 months, we're having a productive meeting with the Community Affairs and Public Event Advisory Committee. They have a lot of good ideas and suggestions. One of them is having a welcome event, Meet the Borough. That's what we're going to call that event for 250 new residents. The event will take place in month of April.
You oversold how brief this is.
I will provide more information as we get close to the event, and that concludes my report, Mayor.
Were you actually done, or are you just?
No.
Oh, okay, all right, that's funny. Any questions for Ruben?
Carry on smartly.
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, Ruben.
Thank you.
Rich, I think you got to go because you're blocking in John. So, Mr. Beluccio.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. So, as in the past, my report is going to be short and sweet. So, for the month of February of 2022, we issued 175 permits. The revenue through the end of February is $63,260. But I have in the queue an additional $100,000 in revenue that permits ready to be picked up just from the larger projects. Sewer connection fees year-to-date is $104,152 that we have collected. Uniform construction code violations are 8. Property maintenance enforcement action, we had 8 court dispositions, 5 violations, 4 court summonses. In addition, our assistant zoning officer processed approximately 10 court dispositions with zoning violations, which I did not add to the report. Ongoing projects, 250 West Westfield Avenue, we're in the process of final closeout for that building. So we're just tightening up on some of the financial agreements. And engineering was out there this week doing a final inspection on the engineering. We are basically done in the construction code agency with all our inspections. They're cleaning up the site, so my hope is that I'll have a TCO issued for that building early next week.
So can I just pause you, Rich, because I was going to ask about this. So at this point, then, either McManaman, Scotland, and Bauman, or you need to give them a friendly reminder on compliance to the redevelopment agreement. I haven't seen a restaurant open up yet, or any plans to do so. So if it's Fran or you, somebody needs to.
I'll reach out.
Okay.
I'll reach out to Dennis. Yeah, Dennis and I have been going back and forth. He did provide a letter that their intent is to put a restaurant in.
Sure.
There's no question. They haven't been arguing that fact at all.
Yeah.
I just think they're having a hard time obtaining or putting a restaurant in at this point.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not shooting the messenger here, but regardless, it's in black and white. That's part of the redevelopment agreement. I don't want to see the ball moved.
Yeah.
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 So-
Well, I did, inform him that if they did plan on changing that, it'd come back to the governing body.
Yep.
light out. And at this point, it's gonna be a TCO, and that TCO will not be changed. I'll extend it.
Yep.
Because I have the right to extend it, I have that authority. But that will not be a full TCO until every aspect of the developer's agreement is met.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep.
So that's moving along. 10 West Westfield Avenue is actually moving along quite nicely. We've been having, on the code side, it's been really very good. And we keep on them, we're out there every day. The plumbing release is ready for the plumbing, the rough plumbing for Building A. The rough fire for Building A, I'm gonna be completing that either tomorrow or Monday on the NFPA 13 system and the standpipes that I spoke to Councilman Signorella about. Zoning completeness reviews, we have county educators, 521 Chestnut Street. They'll be going to the DRC next week. They plan on demolishing their existing building and constructing a new building. So, and that concludes my report.
Cool. Any questions for Rich?
Say, which building again? I'm sorry.
County educators, 521 Chestnut.
Oh, what are they doing there?
They plan on knocking their existing building down.
Yep.
Raising their existing building and constructing a new building.
Okay, got
Along
it.
with some major site work.
Okay.
So can we just, we'll talk offline about it. Weren't they knocking down and coming back and there's a history there. Do you know about the history?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk offline.
They're doing everything together, one shot.
One thing that spurred actually just, oh geez. I think there's some hang up with the Hunter folks. I feel like they're in limbo with CME.
I spoke to their attorney, texted me yesterday, and we're supposed to get together.
Okay.
I did inform him about the timeframes.
Okay, but you guys are in connection, or, okay, cool, good, all right.
And Rich, real quick question. Any update on Autozone? When is that projected to be completed?
I have to reach out to them. They're moving along quite nicely, too. I think they've been held up on the site work because the asphalt plants have been closed. Obviously, they'll be reopening soon to finish the site work. We did get on them about their housekeeping. So I actually called the property owner, made contact through his attorney, who's a very close friend of mine. And I really got on him about just the housekeeping of the whole place. And the individuals he's leasing to, the current tenants. So, and they've been keeping it very clean since then.
I was gonna say, I have noticed an improvement.
Yeah, so I really
Yeah,
got on.
and I was gonna say
him.
thank you for that, ever since we reached out to you, Rich, thank you.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, that's what I'm here for, anytime, So, yeah, we are, but I will find out exactly when their opening will be. Because I'm sure, you're gonna wanna do a ribbon cutting and all that
Yeah.
good stuff that goes along with it.
Cool,
Okay?
all right, thanks, Rich.
You got it.
John? I'm not, oh man, the chief's getting, I usually, here, further down on the list here, I blame the administrator. Is it alphabetical order? Go ahead.
Thank you. The engineering department's been working on a variety of tasks in support of the financial department, public works, building department, since we've come on. One of the larger tasks that we have on our plate is some of the housekeeping, as you mentioned, but with regard to the ordinance. It's long overdue for some updates. So there's some details that we're looking to clean up, some housekeeping things, which obviously, once we do, we're going to present to Andrew, and he's going to take it up with you and other department directors so that it could be entertained and then brought before council. And I won't bore you with the details, so we can talk.
I actually am, I'm curious, I do want to wonk out on this a little bit.
Okay.
So when you have an initial draft, I think just include me on it.
Absolutely,
Yeah, cool.
happy to.
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, it'll be first and second hearing, and if it has to do with the land use, it'll also have to go to land use board. You know the details, or your borough attorney will direct you accordingly. So, on another note, my firm had a transition meeting, if you will, with the former engineer.
Yep.
We've received a number of different items from them. They're also going to be continuing the inspection work on projects that were well underway before we came through.
Yep.
So things are transitioning well. There's also the assessment study that they had started. So we kind of politely asked them to accelerate the process of cranking that out so that we could have a go at it and start moving on that. So we've been working well together, and we're getting information from them, and we're both actually tagging Merck for their flows with regard to their sewage usage. Now that I have the point of contact, I could be a second voice in their ear to give us some of that intel, because we don't have all the information in order to issue the quarterlies. So that's a work in progress. Also wanted to acknowledge that I had the pleasure of meeting with Councilman Petrosky a couple weeks ago. We went over a couple of areas of concern that he had with regard to drainage. I've since visited those sites, actually some today, and had an opportunity to meet again and speak with some of those residents that we had a conference call with that day when we spoke with them. And I found some interesting, there were a number of interesting findings, some of which are going to be more involved to resolve, and some of which I've already talked to Paul about a little bit, public works related. And I won't bore you with the details of my findings. So there's that. And there was the emergency sewer repair today, and this has been an ongoing thing with the clay laterals. Unfortunately, those clay pipes tend to infiltrate a lot of water. Back in the 30s and 40s, that was thought to be a positive thing because it would help flush the line, but turns out not so much. You wanted to be watertight, PVC would have been preferred, but who knew? And so on and so forth. And there's also a handful of land use board applications, which I'm working with Rich, and Talia's been very helpful as well. And I'm working with CME to make sure that the planner's reports and the engineer's reports aren't duplicating efforts, keep it efficient. And that's my summary in a nutshell.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Any questions for the engineer? Cool, thanks, John.
Thank you.
Chief McCaffrey?
I would be remiss if I didn't also mention I've been working with Jay quite a bit too on a number of different things. So, good stuff.
Can't wait to see the bill. Really excited for that one.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
That's right, John's done now. Smooth.
I just have a few things tonight. I'm going to start with just a reminder. We've been getting complaints and we've been observing this. I've spoken about it in the past, but there's no turns permitted from West Grand Avenue onto Locust Street during specific school hours, and that is between 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. and then 2 to 3 p.m. Please be aware of this. Vehicles that don't follow this, it backs the traffic up in front of the schools. We typically have an officer out there directing traffic to assist with this. There are times sometimes our officers are tied up on other events, other emergencies, and the officers aren't there to give guidance, but the rules don't change if the officer's not there. However, people are making these turns and it's really affecting the flow of traffic. So please, it's all put in place to keep the children safe. Please abide by that. We have had officers out there issuing summonses. We would rather have people comply than get summonses, but we can only do so much. I'm again stating what I've said the last few months. Our department is still offering the Operation Blue Angel program. In a nutshell, that's the program where we provide locking mechanisms for you at your house if you qualify for it at no cost. And that'll allow the police department to have access to your residence. In the event of an emergency, we would have a special code. We would open that lockbox that's affixed to your house, get a key so we wouldn't have to force entry, whether it's a fire, whether it's a medical situation, something to that effect that allows the police department access to help an elderly resident or somebody who has a medical condition or something to that effect. I'm staying on an earlier theme with the diversity committee. Our police department and our PBA is partnering up. We will be having a poster contest in the upcoming weeks. The posters should present a theme related to diversity in community, in our community or in your life. There will be 3 winners chosen in 3 different age brackets with prizes given. Those winners will be chosen by the diversity committee. Prizes will be either toys or gifts depending on the age bracket, or the gift cards or toys, Look on our police department Facebook page in the next couple weeks for information pertaining to this. We're excited about it. Should be a good event. Just to expand upon what Chris Monroe from the Diversity Inclusion Committee spoke about, I did have the opportunity to speak to the woman who we mentioned earlier. It's a very unfortunate scenario that took place with this resident that shouldn't happen to anybody, regardless of their skin color, but anybody. But it's really not the welcoming type of way that Roselle Park is. I'm from this town, and as the mayor said, it's a diverse community, and that's a wonderful thing, and we should embrace that, and no one should be made to feel small or poorly like this was done. I was embarrassed for this. When Andrew gave me the information, the question was I going to assign someone to go there, and I felt compelled to go myself because I was so troubled by this. This is a family who moved to Roselle Park because they thought it's a great town, and they're right, it is a great town. And I explained to this resident that doesn't reflect who we are. So all of us need to do a better job, and as was mentioned by council members, talk to your neighbors, let them know who we are as a town. It's a great bunch of people who live in this town, and let's be a reflection of that. The last thing I have, Mayor, is our department will again be hosting the Youth Academy this summer. The dates are Monday, July 25th through July 29th. Applications are available at our police department window. I'm excited to bring our Youth Academy back and running. It was shut down because of COVID. It's a great outreach for our department and the youth of our borough. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to speak to you. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions for the chief?
Thank you, Chief. I've seen a lot of those lock boxes in the apartments around town lately.
We're getting there. We don't have the enrollment that we would like, to be perfectly honest with you. That's why each month, and when I see you next month, I'll bring it up again because it's only going to benefit the community if we can get more buy-in on it. So, and again, it's no cost. No cost to anybody. You just have to fill out the paperwork.
Out there in the public, apartment buildings are also added to that.
Absolutely. We can hang it on your doorknob and it'll be secure, and we've done it in the past. And it's really a very light lift to have this whole process put in place. You fill out a quick form, and we notarize it for you to attest to it, and that's really it.
Can I get one?
You wouldn't qualify.
I wouldn't qualify.
Hey, Chief, I got a question for you. Do we participate in the Project Lifesaver program?
In what capacity?
For Alzheimer and dementia patients?
I'd have to get you a more solid answer on that, but as far as we had, but let me get back to you on that offline.
Usually the county deals with stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So you're just gonna bust down my door if I need help?
Is there something we should talk about?
There might be.
All right, we can do for you.
All right, Chief. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep. Yep. All right, Coach Ranieri, want to come pop up? New guy goes last.
I'd like to thank Mayor Signorello and Town Council for giving me the opportunity to provide a brief update. The goal of the Roselle Park Recreation Department is to meet the recreational needs of our community. As part of our department's effort to meet these needs and expand community services, our department provides a wide range of programs. We recently hosted the Parents' Night Out for members only. This was a successful event sponsored by the Roselle Park PD, PBA. Membership and recreation. We currently have over 375 members in Homework Club, aftercare, transportation, and recreational sports and activities. Homework and aftercare. We are currently near capacity for aftercare between the hours of 3 and 6. We recently increased transportation limits and supervision to our transportation locations. Recreational sports and activities. Boys and girls wrestling will compete in the state qualifiers and individual championships. The Central Jersey team season is finished. They had 4 league tournament place winners. 6th place, Sueni Vasquez. 2nd place, Hamza Castrati. 1st place, Anthony Molinaro. 1st place, an outstanding wrestler, Jake Appello. Boys and girls basketball will continue clinic practices in league play. Team championships will be on Wednesday, March 9th at the middle school. Girls volleyball will begin on March 5th between 6 and 9. Register now, space is limited. Spring rec wrestling clinics will begin April 6th between 6:30 and 7:30. Register now, space is limited. Spring fitness, elementary and middle school co-ed begins April 6th. High school co-ed begins March 21st. Register now. Summer rec middle and high school boys basketball clinics. Grades 6 through 8 will start on Tuesday, June 28th. Grades 9 through 12 will start on Monday, June 27th. The Recreation Committee is hosting the Bunny Trail Easter event on Saturday, April 2nd at the Roselle Park Veterans Memorial Library between 10 and 12. I'd be remiss not to thank Councilman Petrowski, our ASYC employees, coaches, and volunteers for all they do to make these programs successful. The Recreation Department will be hosting the upcoming events: Elementary Movie Night on Saturday, April 30th, High School Rec Night on Friday, April 22nd. Middle School Rec Night on Friday, May 6th, sponsored by the Roselle Park Diversity and Inclusion Committee. You will find this information on our borough's website, rosellepark.net. Click Recreation. As always, you can contact the Recreation Department, recreation@rosellepark.net, with any questions and concerns. Mayor Signorello and Town Council, that completes my March Recreational Department update. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Great job.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Yep. Mr. Superintendent. What do you got?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and residents of Roselle Park. Since my appointment last year, this is my first public opportunity to thank this mayor and council as a whole for having the confidence in my ability to head the Department of Public Works. As you all know, I'm a resident of Roselle Park. I perform my job every day with great pride, and I will continue to do so. Thank you. So far, my goal coming into this position was to try to unite the DPW, the employees of the DPW, and put together a good working staff. So far, so good. I can honestly report, as a whole, they've been responsive. The other thing I've tried to do is keep an open line of communications with the Borough Administrator, Andrew Casillas, the CFO, Ken Blum, construction official, Rich Beluccio, the consulting engineer, John Mele, is that how you pronounce the last name? The police chief, Dan McCaffrey, and I talk probably every single day, and all the other department heads as well as their staff. So far, this line of communication has been successful, and it's helped. It's helped my department, and it's helped their department and the borough in general. Just daily tasks as of late, obviously, knock on wood, we've got through most of the snowstorms. Hopefully, we're past that. I'd say, Joe, March.
March 13th, 1988.
We can't afford it. We can't afford any more snowstorms, so we're gonna have to wait till it melts if we get another one.
So I'm transitioning to spring activities. I've been working at, especially Acker Park. Acker Park needs a lot of work, needs some maintenance. Probably some of the play sets need to be repaired or replaced. Some of the parts need to be replaced. I actually have a meeting scheduled with one of our vendors on March 15th. While there, I'll probably take them over to Aldine Park also, just in case there's anything there. Community gardens, we're assisting the Environmental Commission with cleaning up the park. We started that, the garden. We started that today. We probably have about another day's worth of maintenance there for them. I have a stump crew out taking care of stumps that were left over from last year. We also have probably 30 or 40 street signs that we have sitting in our building that need to go up. They're the new maroon color street signs.
Is there any? Do you guys get the signs in yet for the sensory-friendly park that it's not a dog park or whatever? Like, because I put this on your radar. We keep getting dogs pooping in there. I'm serious.
I'll have to double check on where we are.
Okay.
I think we may actually have some of those signs in the building.
Yeah, I keep getting the text because I guess I don't know if it's the wood chips or whatever. People are confused.
Yeah.
We got to rectify it.
Yep.
Okay.
Stormwater catch basins. I have a crew cleaning those up, especially in the areas that flood. They've been working this week on the east side. As of late, in the last couple of weeks, we've had some graffiti throughout the town. Started at Aldine. The police department is aware of it. We went from Aldine to Girl Scout Park to the tunnel and now the Sherman side. It may not be the same group because the graffiti is a little bit different style, but we've been cleaning it up immediately. And like I said, the police department is aware of it. The graffiti in the tunnel, we haven't had a chance to clean up yet, although that tunnel really needs to be painted. So I'm thinking we just do it. Well, instead of cleaning it up, we're just going to scrape it and clean it. If we need to get a vendor, we'll do that. If we can do it in-house, we'll do that also. In terms of equipment, the sweeper is back out on the road. We had it off the road for a little while because of the snow and the cold weather, but it is out again on its daily route. Jet vac was down for about 4 weeks. That was returned to us last week. The pump went dead on that machine. Now our camera truck is out being serviced. The camera on it is not working. We, as you discussed earlier, someone brought it up earlier, the tractor for cutting grass is being maintenance. Our mechanic is getting it up and running, but it will have to go out to get the bearings changed on the cutter. Garbage, recycling, vegetation, and bulk. Recycling schedule for, in terms of garbage typically, as Andrew said, has been okay. Recycling has been a problem for us. We're getting a lot of phone calls about missed recycling. I did have a conversation with one of the owners at Suburban last week.
You guys are keeping a log of these, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay. And
Every single
Carol,
phone call.
I know we talked early days about this, but have we started looking into potential hearing or potentially something on that, the recycling or municipal waste?
Carol and I spoke.
Okay, cool. All right.
I can speak to that when we get.
Yeah, we don't have to go into detail about it, but yeah.
I did speak to one of the brothers, one of the owners of
Yeah.
the company last week, and he had no idea that this was actually happening. So we had a 15-minute discussion, and the last recycling, I actually found out they only had one truck in town when they were doing recycling, and that was part of the problem. They couldn't handle the whole town in one day. They were coming back immediately the next morning to do the pickups. Last recycling on Tuesday, they actually had 2 trucks in town, one on the east side and one on the west side that I'm aware of. So I honestly only got 1 complaint about recycling not picked up.
That's an improvement.
Yeah.
Good.
Just in terms of the recycling schedule for the month of March, commingling paper products is March 8th and 22nd on a Tuesday, obviously, and commingling bottles, the cans, and plastics are scheduled for Tuesday, March 15th and 29th. Vegetation pickup will resume April 1st, every Thursday on the east side and every Friday on the west side. That concludes my report.
I have a couple things for you because we haven't had a chance to catch up in a while. It's probably relevant to everybody. This is a little bit out of left field, but I want to make sure you start getting a grasp on these things. First off, you're doing a fantastic job, by the way.
Thank you.
I'll start with that. The amount of potholes that I was getting ready to send you pictures of have already been rectified, so somebody's being very proactive, which I appreciate. Chargers, downtown lot project's basically done except for that. I want you to start, making sure that you're the point person on a lot of these projects. It hasn't gotten done. I know Andrew's been all over it, but I want somebody else to be a pit bull and make sure it gets done. Neglia is the special projects guys. You should know them. I just want an answer as to give me a date when it's going to get done.
Is that in both lots downtown or just?
It's just the one lot. It's the liquor store lot.
Store.
Yep. I already complimented you on the potholes. Weeds though at the lot. Put some down because pretty soon on the next warm day, I'm gonna go prune them, and we're gonna get a complaint from the union that the mayor went and physically did it. But I'm coming close to doing it. And just save us all the headaches and get it done. I'm only teasing you. And the last thing, and this is relevant to the whole DPW and council. So I keep talking about the holy grail here is senior housing, right? So quick summary on this, but I think it's important. The idea has been for the last 12 years, give or take, to move the Department of Public Works further back and build senior housing where the current Department of Public Works is. I think we're in the final throes of negotiations to make that happening with the developer that we've selected. But we're on a timeline here now at this point. So if we can't come to it, I'm ready to pull the switch and just say we need to just think about a new plan for the DPW because I think we have all this equipment. Part of the problem we don't have we have with the equipment is because it's not properly protected. Also, look, you can put as much lipstick on a pig as you can, but that building needs to be replaced, right? So my preferred route is to make sure that we have the original plan, which is to move you guys further back and get the nice senior housing up front. But if we can't come to terms with these developers, I would say within the next 6 weeks, we're going to have to really think about, just redoing the DPW lot and put senior housing somewhere else, which I am committed to. So that's one thing, but we should have a go, no-go direction by early spring latest.
There are some other maintenance things that we need to do just in the time being, because if that project in fact does.
Oh, it's still not gonna, yeah.
I have to put more than lipstick on some of these buildings,
Yeah.
mascara and.
Yeah. But I would just say, so budget gets done with the advice and consent of the mayor. We've been taking a first pass at it. I think I have a rough idea of what we're gonna do in terms of capital, but just make sure that if there's any capital asks that, we think are gonna be meaningful, let's just put them in, to Ken. Try and spec them out earlier rather than later so we get a rough cost there. But other than that, I mean, the difference I've seen in the past couple months with production from the Department of Public Works has been night and day. So really kudos from my perspective.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else for Paul?
Yeah, Mayor, if I may.
Yep.
What's that term? Don't shoot the messenger.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, I actually, I don't know if that's the right brother, but I actually had several email correspondence myself personally with Suburban regarding recycling issues. So unless it's a different brother, and it's possible because I know it's two of them. No, they're aware. But secondly,
I kind of figured that.
Yeah. So they're not going to get off the hook that easy. But secondly, more importantly, I just wanted to say, Paul, to you, thank you. I think you're humble, and the mayor. I agree with Mayor. You have been doing an excellent job. I received an email from one resident saying that you helped address a concern that was a problem for over 7 years, and several years is what they use. And they said basically you have no idea how much this means to that resident. And also they said both you and Mr. Johnson are the type of leaders we need in our town, and you made this resident very happy. So I just wanted to say,
You like how I just slipped in Mr. Johnson?
it's not me. This is what she said. But that's probably because I reached out to you about this dilemma. It's not because I'm a rock star. Obviously, Paul did all the heavy lifting and work. But I just wanted to say thank you, and I think people need to be aware that you've been working diligently, and I truly appreciate it because it does help when residents reach out to us as an elected official and we can actually get something done. So thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
Cool.
Especially with those potholes, Columbus Place.
Thank you. I want to say thank you on behalf of everyone at the Fifth Ward. You've been extremely responsive, taking care of things just about like next day. So it is being noticed, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. May I have a motion to approve the reports of departments as submitted?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just one eye? Anybody else want to?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. You're really holding down the team there, Council President. Okay, Mr. Clerk, please read ordinance number 2675 by title and the report and recommendations received from the Municipal Land Use Board with respect thereto.
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance number 2675 is an ordinance for second reading and public hearing, an ordinance amending Chapter 40, Section 103 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Development and Review Committee, and their report states, please be advised that the Roselle Park Municipal Land Use Board reviewed ordinance number 2675, amending Chapter 40, Section 103 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Development and Review Committee. The Municipal Land Use Board voted unanimously to refer the ordinance back to Mayor and Council without reservation for adoption.
Okay, great. May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2675?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anybody would like to come up and speak on this ordinance, which is hotly contested, you may do so now. Anybody have an issue with council people going on the DRC? Nope. Seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance number 2675?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2675?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, again, just briefly, I'm not going to belabor the whole purpose of me wanting to add mayor and council and their respective representatives is just for continuity of government and transparency and awareness. Nothing more, nothing less. We all still know that there are ethic rules and laws and things of that nature that we need to abide by. But this way it can minimize us beating up Andrew all the time with emails and things of that nature when residents are reaching out to us. So it just makes sense to me.
Although there's nothing against beating up Andrew if you want to. There's no ordinance against that.
He has enough duties.
Any further discussion? Okay. Andrew, call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yes.
Councilman Ravina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Baloma.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The ordinance is adopted.
Andrew, please read ordinance number 2676 by title.
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance 2676 is an ordinance for second reading and public hearing, an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Section 39, subsection 39.2 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Handicap Parking on Streets for Private Residences.
Okay, may I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2676?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anybody like to come and speak on this ordinance? I am seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance number 2676?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2676?
So move. Second.
Is there any discussion? Great. Andrew, call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yes.
Councilman Ravina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Baloma.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The ordinance is adopted.
Okay, all matters listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of the general orders. Andrew, please read all resolutions on the consent agenda by title.
Yes, Mayor. Resolution 87-22 is awarding a contract to Suburban Disposal, Inc. pursuant to Option B of the advertised bid specifications for 2022 bulk waste collection services in an amount not to exceed $80,000. Resolution 88-22 is authorizing closeout of the contract with Crossroads Pavement Maintenance LLC for the project improvements to the gazebo parking lot. Resolution 89-22 is appointing Anthony Carvalho to the position of alternate crossing guard. Resolution 90-22 is authorizing the execution of a lease renewal agreement for the Roselle Park Historical Society. Resolution 91-22 is establishing the 2022 summer hour schedule for Borough Hall. Resolution 92-22 is awarding a contract to D'Onofrio and Son, Inc. pursuant to the base bid of the advertised bid specification for lawn and grounds maintenance in an amount not to exceed $33,075. Resolution 93-22 is accepting the resignation of Michelle Lamonto as the Borough of Roselle Park's agent for Sustainable Jersey Municipal Certification. Resolution 94-22 is appointing Ellen Margarita to the Roselle Park Green Team. Resolution 95-22 is appointing Julie Ford to the Roselle Park Green Team. Resolution 96-22 is appointing Emily Gagnon to the Roselle Park Green Team. Resolution 97-22 is appointing Jackie Nolo to the Roselle Park Green Team. Resolution 98-22 is authorizing an award of a non-fair and open contract to certain professional services for certain professional services identified as managed information technology maintenance and support services. Resolution 99-22 is authorizing change order number 1 to Cefelli & Son General Contracting, Inc. for the project improvements to the Borough Hall and OEM parking lot in the amount of $35,664.55, an increase of 17.91% to reflect the total contract amount of $234,824.55. Resolution 100-22 is authorizing the treasurer to issue one check totaling $56,682.37, payable to one lien holder on one property and one check totaling $58,000 from the tax collector's premium account. Resolution 101-22 is accepting the resignation of Michael V. Pierce from the Roselle Park Fire Department. Resolution 102-22 is appointing Cesar R. De La Pena as a member of the Roselle Park Fire Department. And Resolution 103-22 is appointing Giovanni Munzin as a member of the Roselle Park Auxiliary Police Force.
Excellent. So I'm going to pull 87-22 and 91-22. Is there anybody else that wants to pull anything else? Excellent. Do any members wish to I already asked that. May I have a motion to approve the resolutions remaining on the consent agenda?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt resolution 87-22?
So move. Second.
Is there any discussion? Let me tee this up. So, bulk waste has been something that has been on my mind since I got elected, and I think it's still is not optimal in the borough of Roselle Park, although it is a service that we provide, and I think a service that adds value. It's something that we've tried to get creative in exploring different options for. So when I first got elected, we explored a shared service with Plainfield. What was the name of the group that is now disbanded? Plainfield Municipal. Yes.
They're active.
Oh, they are? Well, just for Plainfield now, though. It's no longer a shared
Yes.
service, yeah. We explored, I actually really like the best thing that I've seen is, the 1 to 2 or 3 bulky items per month at the end of the month. We ran into some issues with that because of collection with the apartment buildings that exist. It's not really tenable to have 100 apartment building only put out 2 to 3 bulky items per month. I'm not thrilled that consistently we only have one bidder for most of our waste. We have, it's tied to this somewhat, we have our bid out for municipal waste, just the weekly pickup. We're hoping that we attract multiple bidders. If that's the case, we're hoping that we'll have other options for bulk waste pickup. I don't come from the waste industry, but from what I understand, a lot of folks, if they're doing the regular collection in Roselle Park, are more equipped to do the bulk collection as well. With all that being said, I think we need to continue this year in the back of our mind, explore other options for bulk waste without getting rid of it. And I think we might need to get creative and think about whether or not we internalize and just do it ourselves potentially, because I think people broadly deserve better service. If there's one thing I've learned in 3 years as mayor, people really care about their garbage pickup. People really care about taxes. And people care about potholes and trees. Oh man, do they care about trees. Snow too. But we do snow good. We do snow very well, I would say. So I haven't had to deal with that. I don't love the price tag of this. They are the one bidder, and it's a service that we want to continue doing. So if I have to break a tie for it, I will vote yes for this. But I think this is a service that we should continue to look to optimize and potentially rejigger next year. But it is a service that I hope we continue for the Borough of Roselle Park for this year and the future. I don't know if anybody... Oh, and the last thing I wanted to say is I know we've had a bunch of issues with Roselle Suburban. I do think that a bulk, no pun intended, of those issues have been related to recycling. And I do think when considering a lot of these things, and this is for edification of the people of Roselle Park, not necessarily for council, because you guys see this every day, I do think we need to consider that when we have an issue with one part of their service, we need to address that issue with that part of their service, and it looks like we are. Paul's on them. Great job, Paul. And we'll continue to do that. And I think at this point, we're so frustrated that I think we're looking at legal options to make sure that they're put on notice. But I do think in the past, bulk waste pickup's been okay, not perfect. So long story short, I think it's something we need to continue for 2022 and something we need to optimize going forward. If I'm so lucky to be mayor next year, it'll be one of my priorities. I mean, it's one of my priorities this year to set up for next year, but that's all I've got. Any council folks discussion? I know there's been a hot button issue for the last week or two.
Yeah, Mayor, I think I agree with you about they may have other issues from on the recycling end, because that would be what my concern is, and I'm quite a little annoyed by that myself personally. I will say I agree with you. The bulk end has been substantially fine. I just had a couple of questions that maybe Andrew or someone could possibly ask.
You want to come up just in case, Paul?
If we were to make a counter offer, or is that even possible at this point?
Test my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't know.
So from my understanding, the only thing when it's an open bid, we can't negotiate.
Okay.
I'm not using proper legalese, but we could reject the bid and then go back out to bid again.
Okay.
But the danger is we only get one bidder normally.
Yeah.
They could come back and bid and say, oh, it's $100,000 now.
Yeah.
So that's the danger there.
And the last question I think I have is just okay. So yeah, we can't do that. And what was it? Let's pick up. Oh, I just wanted to make sure. I know we went and we followed the statute with submitting, putting out on Star Ledger. I reached out to Andrew about this, and he clarified a couple of things. But I was just wondering, is there anything else that we could do, like maybe reach out to the League of Municipalities, or even start calling some of these vendors prior to us putting out a bid for recycling? That's with the recycling.
So we have.
Okay.
So we can't speak. So let me be abundantly clear. with the lawyer clarifying anything I need to, and Andrew, we can't speak specifically about the bid, and we have not. But we can talk in broad strokes about, potential, what we do in Roselle Park, and, if there would be potential to do work in Roselle Park, so on and so forth. And I think we've done it a couple times over the years. Andrew, you probably have a better recollection of what we've done.
We've done market research, which is what I would call the conversations, and we would talk about, the way that they go about their operations in other municipalities and their business model, because we can't tailor a bid to any one business's business model. So we've tried to make sure we've done that, and it's a frustration of mine, and I'm the one who has to deliver the news to you guys first, that this is the only bidder. So it's very frustrating for me, and I was actually excited to see that 3 potential bidders picked up, because I thought, okay, maybe we got something here. We have something here this year. But we've done the market research, and we've, there's a myriad of reasons, I think, for bulk waste we get one bidder, not least of which is probably that they do all the rest of our, collection services. So the short answer is we do that. We do have a process that we go through every, I won't say it's systematic or every year, but when we are up for soliciting for a contract, we do go out and look at the market and talk to people and say, how are things looking for you, and what are you doing in other municipalities where we could possibly model or replicate or work into how we do things here. And quite frankly, I've talked to vendors, not to belabor the point, where they've said, well, if you split Roselle Park up into 8 zones, we could definitely do it. And we're 1 square mile town, and I've lived here for 26 years. And if any governing body told me that we were going to split the town up into 8 zones for collection, it's not I'm not delivering that news to you, and I'm not going to.
East side 1, 2, 3, and 4. How would you do it?
So I mean, there's some vendors that are just never going to be in the running, but we do have that conversation on a pretty regular basis.
And I know that the results of the recycle. So perfect example. The results of the recycling haven't been fantastic from a service perspective, but the one way. So just to refresh everybody's memory, was it 2 years ago? How long? Where did we lock up this new recycling contract? Was it last year?
2019.
2020 and 2021 just blend in for me. But we went out and did market research because we knew that China had stopped buying recycling. So we knew that from a disposal perspective, we were up against a wall price-wise. So we did market research to figure out how we can start at least mitigating some of the costs from a labor perspective. And the market research returned, we would go back to dual stream. 1 week the commingled paper, and the next week bottles and cans. And that's how, again, service leaves a little bit to be desired, but from a cost perspective, we were mitigating some of the factors there, because from a labor perspective, we did that market research, we changed that and brought the labor cost down to an extent. So,
well, I do understand the importance of doing bulk, so I wouldn't hinder it. There's other things that concern me too, that I'll probably talk to the council when we're offline, that perhaps that they were at best probably doing some minute shady dealings. So I'll talk to council about that offline.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't want to accuse anybody or.
No. But I think, I'm at the point where we're talking to council about potential. I think to disqualify a bidder, you need to have a hearing to make sure that they're on notice, right? I'm really talking in broad strokes here because I'm way over my skis at this point. And I think we're at the point now from a service perspective and potentially from an ethics perspective where that's warranted. And I think it's incumbent upon our superintendent to keep an eye on. It's something that we might need to make a move on. But last but not least, I never thought I would say this because I'm all about actually streamlining and outsourcing where possible. But at some point, when Ken gets 5 minutes and he's done getting me a fantastic budget this year, we're gonna have a look at what the internalizing this, right? Because I just don't know if we're only gonna get one bidder every year. Yeah. I'll just do it myself. Yeah.
How many years is it?
Mayor, excuse me. So, look, we were 66,000 last year, correct me, and 64, 62. It's going to be 85, 90,000 next year. Between myself and the superintendent, we'll come up with something. Other towns do it monthly, twice a year. There's got to be somebody's doing it. I don't want to say the word better, but we shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel. There's got to be another angle. Look, I'll say this. I'd rather spend if we have to purchase a vehicle through capital and it's $90,000 a year, at least we could use it for other services, other times of the year. So we'll have to look hard to see if it's worth a year or two investing the money in equipment that you could use 12 months of the year for snow, dirt, and bulk. We have to look into it, you know, so.
And the final thought,
Yeah.
and the final thought on that is, and I pray, hope beyond all hope, is if we have another vendor bid for our municipal waste, our weekly municipal waste, then that opens up options potentially for, Joe Signorella's Waste Management Company, I'm just gonna come up with a name. They come and bid. I think there's a whole bunch of ethics laws as to why it's Joe Signorella from Connecticut. He's a different guy. They come in and they bid and they say, we're doing your weekly waste pickup. Then I would imagine from a business perspective, they already have trucks in here. Maybe they'd be more open to bidding for our bulk waste. You know, so I think we need to see how that bid goes and react from there would be my feedback, so.
And I do have a question. Andrew, did we receive any feedback? You mentioned that 3 bidders came in to pick up applications. We only heard back from the 1. Any feedback from the other 2 as to why they didn't submit a bid?
So one was waste management, and I can only, so the direct answer to your question is I did not ask. I can ask. Waste management, for a myriad of reasons, I'm sure didn't bid. I mean, not least of which is they have business all over the world. The other vendor, I'd be actually more curious. And if nothing else, I'll ask them what they thought and see if what their hesitation was in bidding.
Okay.
They might have just been curious, but I'll reach out to them if I get a response. I'll share it with
Yeah, I appreciate
everybody.
it. Thank you. And for the second question I had too, regarding the increase, the substantial increase in cost, is that going to, are they offering different services? Will they?
The same services.
Same
services.
Not even considering picking
Yeah.
up rugs or
Yeah.
things that have been historically pretty difficult for
I mean, let me-
challenging
so-
for residents to pick up?
So I want to front run this because I do agree with you. So part of the reason why, loath to bring this up, but part of the reason why we considered doing at least one pay per pickup my first year as mayor was because we've actually, so nobody wants to do bulk waste pickup. Let me put this out there, right? Like it's not, I don't know if it's not, they don't make a lot of money off this, or they just do it as part of cost of doing business because we have a relationship, but nobody wants to do this. And actually, our bulk bids specs have changed to make sure that people will actually bid on it, right? And we've had to pare down, so it's been, through the market research, people have said, we won't pick this up, we won't pick this up, we won't pick this up. Part of the reason why I wanted to bring in Plainfield at that time was, although you'd have to pay for it, they would pick everything up, right? Like, whatever. Up to like 1,000 pounds, they would pick everything up. So you'd pay per pickup, right? In that case, but whatever you want, they're going to pick up. So historically, I mean, it went from 12 bulk pickups a year to 6 to 1, and then we went back up to 2. I'm so oversimplifying the history of it, but we've actually pared it back down because when we put in those broad parameters, everybody's just like, we don't want this. You know, we can't dispose of it. So, I mean, I would say the one thing that, like, I say this over and over again, and I know we already pay a healthy amount of taxes here, but we do for electronics and for whatever else, we do recycling at the DPW for a pretty low fee. We'll pick it up, right? Like, I'm talking like $10 for if you want to pick up a mattress, right? Which I know people don't want to shell out. I know times are tough. But if there is something that can't get picked up here, like we'll come get it for a pretty nominal fee.
I was just hoping that since the increase in cost and to take a lot because
They're
Paul's done
gonna-
a great job with DPW. so
They're going to say,
focus. They're busy on other projects.
yeah, they're going to say, and I've had this before, is we can't get people, we need to pay them more, and they're going to throw inflation in our face, yada yada yada. Like it is a macroeconomic, and I think a lot of excuses, but it's a macroeconomic issue that they've brought back to us. So, yeah, I wish I had a better answer, but that's just,
I want the truth. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Actually, you answered it good.
I'm working here, man. Trying to earn that. Yeah, good.
So in terms of our bulk pickup,
Yep.
on average, we do probably 6 to 7 a week, 1 per day, maybe a little bit more.
Yep.
So and that's our morning run. That's our routine. There's one crew that's just, if we have it, goes out on bulk every day. And it's fairly inexpensive, right? As long as it's curbside. I have helped seniors where they were not able to come out. We have helped them and assisted them in certain circumstances with taking the material out. But for the most side, it's pretty easy. It's just curbside. They come in and pay for it in advance, which is usually $10 or $15, and then we pick it up the next day. In terms of electronics, if they bring it to the yard, I don't think
There is no
charge for
cost.
it,
Yeah, it's
right.
free. Yeah, we just bring it to the
We
counter.
just put it in the container.
Yeah, we have a container.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else, council? Andrew, call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
We need bulk, yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yeah.
Councilman Urbina.
I get it.
Yes.
Councilwoman Baloma.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The resolution is adopted.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt 91-22?
So move. Second.
Is there any discussion? So I love Borough Hall workers. I think there's pluses and minuses to summer hours. I think Councilman at Large and the First Ward Councilman had an alternate proposal. Before you guys go into it, from a procedural perspective, do we need to table this if we have an alternate proposal? And
This
then
is the alternate proposal.
Oh, this is the alternate proposal?
Yes.
Okay. Does somebody just want to give a highlight of what the changes were?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, cool.
If that's okay with
Okay.
everybody.
No, go ahead.
So the proposal from the municipal workers was a four-day schedule, Monday through Thursday, with Friday municipal hall being closed. The Monday through Thursday schedule would be 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., so 4 10-hour days. Lunch hour would be an hour and 15 minutes as opposed to an hour, therefore everybody would be working their regular 35 hours on the clock. That would have extended from right after Labor Day to, and by the way, there are small deviations to this depending on the department and the individuals involved. So, but this schedule would generally extend from Memorial Day to Labor Day. I believe that there was some discussion amongst the members of the governing body. I've spoken to several members who had some hesitation about having that long of a duration of time for this schedule. So instead of having a June, July, and August approval, this resolution would reflect simply a July and August schedule, where throughout the month of June, while school is still in session, the hours of Borough Hall would remain unchanged from an operational perspective, and would be just the summer months when conceivably there's less going on, less people here, where the schedule would be altered and Fridays would be limited.
Yeah, and I think the benefit in broad strokes to the general public is for somebody who works in an office once again now, like I do, from a 9 to 5, we have extended hours after. So although there'll be less coverage on a Friday, if you have something late to pop in and do, we'll accommodate for that during the summer hours, which I think is a net positive. So I think this is a good balance. Any further discussion?
Yeah, and just to confirm, most of the applications that are available to constituents, the residents, are available online on the borough's website?
They are available online. If somebody were to visit the website now, they may not get to those forms. However, I can assure you that if those forms are not available by the summer, I will sit in Borough Hall every Friday myself and answer people's questions.
Okay.
And I may be doing that anyway. But the forms will be available on the Borough website, if not just as they are now in an expanded format.
All right, and one thing maybe to possibly consider with the closure on Fridays, is there any way we can have, I can't say a satellite office, but can we have some applications available for members of the public, either at the Casano Center or here at the police department? They can go in and visit the clerk, just for folks within town that don't have access to.
I love that.
computer.
We'll put a stack of them in the Casano Center.
Work through.
Yeah, whatever relevant documentation.
That's fine.
I think it's great.
Also, I want to send out a town bulletin to notify all the residents, more importantly.
We should put it in, we do the recycling calendar. We should make sure that it's in the recycling calendar as a notification.
Yeah, so I did like an informal poll, and I think for the most part, from what I got, most residents were okay with it. You had those one or two that, prefer like a rotation or something along those lines. However, our borough employees work hard, and I don't mind for morality, and in addition to that, longer hours in the evenings could help somebody if they get off of work and things of that nature. So I think I'll be okay with voting yes for this, Mayor.
Excellent. Further discussion?
Councilman Petrowski.
Yes.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Urbina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bolomo.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The resolution is adopted.
Okay, reports of Borough Council committees. Let's start off with Councilwoman Below.
Roselle Park.
I think your mic's off, Councilwoman, or you might want to move up.
Yeah, just move
All right, good afternoon or good evening. Roselle Park Veterans Memorial Library is participating in Read Across America Week this week, February 28th through the 5th. Read Across America is a time when members of society all come together to celebrate the joys of reading and to encourage it to become a good habit for children. Please join us on Saturday, March 5th for the Read Across America party from 12:30 to 2 p.m. for craft snacks and fun activities. The guest star is Pikachu. I would also like to remind everyone that the Roselle Park Veterans Memorial Library has an intern social worker, Emma Kapner, on staff and is available to all. If you need help with PAD, Medicare, housing, or other issues, she can be reached at 908-245-2456, extension 3806. Her hours are Thursday and Fridays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Additionally, if you need important documents notarized, you can meet Miss Maria on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or Thursdays 5 to 8 at the library. Also, last night I had the opportunity to sit down on an interview process for the library director position. We saw 2 candidates. Okay, on March 2nd, which was last night, also I attended the Environmental Commission meeting at the Casano Center. The committee is seeking volunteers for a shade tree subcommittee, the green team, and community garden. The committee discussed the budget for this year and how to communicate with residents. If you would like to get involved or contact the committee, you can go to the Facebook page, Roselle Park Environmental Commission. Okay, conversations with the councilwoman every second Tuesday of the month. I'll be available to residents and businesses for open discussion from 6 to 7 p.m. I held my first meeting on February 8th at the Casano Center, and all are welcome to attend the second Tuesday of this month. Sorry. Okay, as a small business owner, I understand how important it is to work with other small businesses in our community. Therefore, every 4th Tuesday of the month, we will be having a meeting for Roselle Park small businesses from 6 to 7 at the Casano Center. This meeting is for owners of the businesses in Roselle Park for an open line of communication, work together, support each other, and open a line of communication from the business to the town. We held our first meeting at the Casano Center on February 22nd. On March 12th, Dowling's Irish Pub will be taking over Frenchie's Kitchen. $10 per person, includes transportation to and from the Union County St. Patrick's Day Parade and a continental breakfast. There will be a post-parade entertainment and doors open at 9:30 a.m. Bus leaves for the parade at 11:30. Mark the calendar. This is supporting small business, supporting other small businesses. You know, LD and PTO is having an annual tricky tray on Saturday, March 26th at Kenilworth. VFW, doors open at 4 p.m. Tickets are $25. You can contact LD and PTO at ldandpto@gmail.com for more information or to purchase tickets. Also, the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission will be coming to Roselle Park. It's located at Michael Morey Gazebo Park on East Grant Avenue from 10 to 2 p.m. A date maybe will be available for the months of April, May, June, and July. Agency on Wheels offers driver's licenses, real ID, license plates, non-driver's ID cards, placards, registration, and examination permits. Please check the Borough of Roselle Park Facebook page for information. If you need to get in contact with me, you can contact me at jbelomo@rosellepark.net or call me at 908-514-5027. Thank you for allowing me to serve.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Connolly.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to send my condolences out to Joe DeMarco. He was a very active member of the Knights of Columbus. He was a past Grand Knight, past Faithful Navigator, and district deputy. And he also was part of the cycling team at the Assumption Church. And with the great thing about him, that he was injured from a man that was disgruntled to the job and was shot multiple times and went through multiple surgeries throughout the year. And for him to do this was great, but it was really heartfelt. I felt it you know, that his life is gone, and he's no longer with us anymore. And, you know, he was a trooper, he really was. Other than that, I don't know if this is the right time. I know we're going through the capital budget and all this stuff, but I was thinking about the basin on Hawthorne Avenue. I think we could take an area of that and use it as possible dog park. I was talking to a lot of residents, the Meridian Project. A lot of them have dogs, and I think this would be an asset in bringing something like this in our community. I was talking to council members in Jersey City near Hamilton Park, and it's a great opportunity for people to meet.
Look at you networking. Where are you hanging out with Jersey City Council people? Oh,
So when the mayor was running.
That's Hudson County. That's the borough administrator's turf. You know he was in your
I'm
turf.
on 9th Avenue all the time over there. Was it 9th Avenue?
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, Councilman, keep
But
going.
anyway, no. But I think this would be something that, you know, I think we could have, Andrew, maybe you could have it, you know, looked at, maybe, you know, in the insurance point of view and so forth, because I know there's a lot of, you know, things that need to be done before that could actually happen.
So, Councilman, just real quick pause. I think now's a great time to talk about it. So, we were reached out by from our state legislature about some of our priorities and some of our bigger projects that we want to do. So, the one that we talked about lending support behind was the Rails to Trails initiative, both the countywide effort and the potential one to Kenilworth and Hawthorne Basin revitalization. So, hopefully we can pick up some funds that way.
Yeah, we need to do something with that property, it's just wasted space. And I think we can, no, a lot of it is, needs, you know, for the offlow of the, you know, the stormwaters. But I think we could take a portion of it, and I think we could do something with it.
Good idea.
Good idea, Mike.
If you need to contact me, you can email me at mconley@rosellepark.net. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Johnson.
Good idea, Mike. Good evening, Mayor, Council residents. First and foremost, I would like to recognize the month of March being known as the National Women's History Month. In 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued a presidential proclamation establishing National Women's History Week. And it later became a month of celebration. This month, we honor generations of women that helped shape and add to the progress of this great nation. I would love to honor my mother, who, while raising me in the inner city, she would oftentimes spend her last in order to send my siblings and me to private school to create an opportunity for us to have a competitive educational experience while installing positive values. Thank you, Mom, for everything, and I'm grateful, and your strives are definitely instilled in me, and I'm going to continue to make you proud. It has been brought to my attention by email, as well as while I was walking around in the First Ward when I noticed several graffiti concerns needing to be addressed within our community. I can't begin to express enough our community. It is up to us, all of us, to upkeep the aesthetics of our charming community. So please, I believe the phrase is, if you see something, say something. And we're gonna need all of the community to be actively involved. You can do so by reporting these said concerns to our local police department, DPW, Borough Hall. We give Andrew one more thing, why not? And by simply emailing your respective Borough Council representatives. This is our community, so let's keep up with our community.
I got something.
Now, I don't want anyone getting into any physical altercation. This is important. I gotta say this disclaimer, because I don't want anyone just going up to people and getting into a fight or things of that nature. So just notify the proper authorities. Roselle Park Police Department number is 908-245-2300. I'm sorry, you could interrupt now. I just wanted to make sure people, I don't want people out there.
No. We don't need vigilantes.
We don't need that.
No. The one thing I wanted to say, so we're in the early stages of, Ken's gonna find the money for it. Great job, Ken. It's only like $250 a month. It's gonna be fine. Figure it out. We're gonna roll out, hopefully sooner rather than later, a Roselle Park app. And
That'd be nice.
the long vision on the Hill is to have sort of an application that will tell you everything that's going on in Roselle Park and give you everything that the website has. And we're going to try and bake that into as much as we can version 1.0. But the initial focus of the application is going to be for reporting issues around town. So the app, a vendor that we're working with from California, we will route pictures and issues like potholes or graffiti directly to the Department of Public Works, where they can address it. We can even go as far as have a ticketing system and what do you call it? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but the long story short, rather than just bothering Andrew, although I love to bother Andrew.
Yeah, me too.
Or bother your councilman or mayor.
Just simply go on the app.
We're looking forward to hopefully have that. I think realistic time frame is this summer, potentially early fall. Be able to take a picture of graffiti if you want to. Submit it directly to the borough, and we can address it that way. So
I will say each time I reached out to Paul, though, he was immediately on it. So thank you again, if wherever you are.
There will be an overflow.
Just so you know, that doesn't come out of my time, Mayor.
No, it's good. Yeah, we'll give you the extent.
All right, where am I? Oh, the Roselle Park Department of Recreation is in collaboration with the Diversity and Inclusion Committee presents a high school rec night, which will be held on Friday, April 22nd from 7:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at the Anthony Signorello Center. So please join us for a night of music, dancing, fun, food, open mic, digital games, and more. I followed up with Andrew regarding a trust fund with the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and thank you for responding back, Andrew. I don't want to get beat up by my committee. But just to clarify, unfortunately, the borough had to resend the request and the resolution. They never received it, if I'm correct. Nevertheless, our BA is on the job, and we thank Andrew for your assistance. And for those that don't know, DLGS is Division of Local Government Services. I know a lot of times we talk in acronyms, and sometimes that frustrates me too. So I just felt the need and compelled to, and they basically just help us with financial reporting, joint services, purchasing, management, etc. They help government entities. So moving along, Union Road. I reached out to Andrew again. Union Road. We should be expecting, and correct me if I'm wrong, work to break ground possibly this summer. If you would like to.
Yeah. So if I just to go off on that, so we have funded that project in part by the New Jersey Department of Transportation grant that we received last year. The other portion of that grant, so the supplement to that money that we got, has to be accounted for in this capital budget, which we will. I know it's already in, I always call it version 0. That's before the governing body even sees it. So I know that's in version 0. So the quicker we can move on the capital budget, the quicker these projects can happen. So that's why I'm saying summer-ish.
Oh, that's good. Thank you for the clarification. You can explain it much better than me. Lastly, we have been dealing with many diminutive or annoying quality of life concerns, from graffiti to illegal dumping. I have emailed the BA regarding equipment that may potentially aid us with mitigating some of these concerns, such as a police mobile surveillance unit. Quite frankly, I would love for us to have these movable cameras that can help with troubled areas. These apparatuses that I requesting could be a bit costly. However, we could offset some of these costs. From my understanding, if we apply for certain special grants from Homeland Security, if it's not too late, I did reach out to Andrew. I know there's timelines with submitting these grants. However, I think worst case scenario, if we can't submit for them this year, this should be something that we put on the agenda next year as soon as applications are permittable for us. These units can help mitigate trouble areas. I know I asked the chief earlier I want to say a few weeks ago about the location that was by. There was an incident that happened over on several areas, and so I think I personally love these devices. We use them on the county level as well. So my understanding, the county can loan us. They have one or two, but I would like to get one of those devices or equipment for us personally to be used. Let me see. Lastly, please remember your voice matters. As First Ward Council, I will always place the concerns of the residents within the Borough of Roselle Park first. If you need to get in contact with me, please feel free to email me at gjohnson@rosellepark.net, or you can call me at 908-303-1519. And Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to send my condolences out to Carmen, Angelina, the Panero family, Edward Ditzel, and Joseph DeMarco. Okay, on February 23rd, I attended the Community Affairs and Public Events Committee meeting. As our Casano Center director mentioned, they're setting something up for April 23rd. They're going to have like 250 new residents, and they're going to call it Meet the Borough. They're going to take a tour of the Anthony Signorelli Youth Center and the library, since they were both redone. Basically, what they want to do for this is provide information about services that the borough offers for the new residents of Roselle Park. As Coach Ranieri had mentioned, the Recreation Committee is having the Easter egg hunt at the library. It'll be on April 2nd from 10 to 12, and the rain date will be April 3rd, 10 to 12. He gave the report of basketball and wrestling. The 28th, I attended the fire department meeting. They're going to be setting me up with the things that need repair at the 3 firehouses. So I should get that sometime this month and be ready to go for March to let the superintendent of the DPW know. As it was previous thing, April 12th, 2022, the St. Patrick's at the Casano Center from 2 to 5. I want to congratulate Mason Harms for making it to the state wrestling for the high school. And also, I'm hoping everyone goes pray for the people of Ukraine. You know, I can't watch the TV. You know, I see these young kids in the subway, and it's sad. Jay Petrosky at rosellepark.net, 908-666-7821. That's my report.
It was an excellent report, Council President. Joe Signorelli.
I'm going to give my dog and cat report here. It's important that your animal will be licensed prior to March 1st, or 3 days behind, in order to avoid any summons being issued. Please be advised that the summons will be issued the week of March 14th, and for any other 2022 unlicensed pets that were unlicensed in the Borough of Roselle Parks during the year 2021. As of today, is out of 647 dogs, only 524 dogs have been licensed. Out of 126 cats, only 87 have been licensed. I'd just like to thank the superintendent, the DPW. I'm responding to a phone call I got yesterday at the 200 block of Sherman Ave. It seems like our sewer, between whose responsibility or what's issue, has been increasing lately. I'm not sure why, from all the prior construction over the last couple of years, but either way, I'd just like to thank the DPW, the engineer, and I know Andrew had a little help to do it, helping these folks out to get this done as soon as possible. Again, like Joe Petrosky said, what's going on in Ukraine, whatever faith you are, or whatever you have, or pray for these folks. It's sad what's going on, and same thing like Councilman Petrosky saying, I don't watch anything, I watch the Weather Channel, because it's disheartening.
About the southern border.
Well, there's nothing going on here with not public portion. Thank you, though.
So, thank you so much, and if you have any questions, I'm at 908 721-6488. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Urbina?
Good evening, Mayor, colleagues, and good evening, Roselle Park. On the 18th, I connected with Kane University regarding the Kane Network Partnership. Met the rep at the Chamber event a couple weeks back. It's a partnership that's open to any business, organization, or municipality. There is no cost to join, and if employees or members attend Kane seeking a degree, they receive numerous benefits, including a 10 to 20% tuition discount and an application fee waiver, along with a single point of contact for all admissions questions. Open to work together with this team to get this partnership in place to assist our employees and volunteers seeking higher learning. Also on the 18th, I was in communication with Elizabethtown Gas and Skoda construction crew for a schedule of work in the 5th Ward after residents had reached out asking if the schedule was available. The utility company agreed to send me email updates every Friday so I can get the word out to residents. I've been sharing this information these last couple of weeks on my Facebook page, and I did receive next week's locations this morning, so visit my council page on Facebook for the most recent street listing. There's quite a few. I reached out to Verizon and Comcast officials regarding low-hanging and down communication wires around the ward. I provided them with a list of locations of concerns already. However, if you have low-hanging and down wires on your property or see hazards on public sidewalks and streets, send photos, pole number, and nearest cross streets to jrubine@rosellepark.net so I can add them to the list for follow-up. Quick reminder, on Monday, March 7th, the Bourne Street Bridge replacement is scheduled to begin. Please follow detours and allow for extra travel time. And for folks on Valley Road, and as our BA had mentioned earlier, milling and paving is anticipated for early next month. In the Transportation Department, according to NJ State Police Traffic Fatality Statistics, 2021 was the state's deadliest year in more than 3 decades, with 703 people killed in crashes, including 222 pedestrians and 23 cyclists. It was the deadliest year on record for pedestrians in New Jersey since 1983, and a total of 197 pedestrians and cyclists died on state roadways in 2020, accounting for 34% of New Jersey's fatal crash that year. Joining the move over law and crosswalk stop law, which requires motorists to move over or slow down for first responders and stop for people crossing the crosswalks. On March 1st, New Jersey passed the safe passing law to protect vulnerable road users like pedestrians, joggers, and cyclists. The goal of all these laws is to reduce injuries and fatalities and prevent near misses. On a single lane road, drivers must allow a 4-foot safety zone when passing. If they cannot provide 4 feet of space, they must slow down to 25 miles an hour and be prepared to stop until they can safely pass without endangering those sharing the road. Drivers who violate the law and cause bodily injury face a $500 fine and 2 motor vehicle penalty points. If there is no bodily injury, the fine is $100. Slowing down, moving over, and passing with care will prevent crashes and save lives. On the 21st, we had the Land Use Board meeting. We memorialized resolutions, including 259 East Clay Ave for a subdivision, and had a request for adjournment on the application of the former garden dry cleaners at 243 East Westfield Avenue. On February 24th, I attended the Special Education Parent Advisory Group meeting. The Director of Special Services for the district provided an update. The RPSD has hired an additional board-certified behavior analyst, increasing to 2 full-time positions instead of 1 for the entire district. Consultants have also been in for staff training, topics from classroom management, classroom motivation, and setting routines and procedures. There's also increased staff for special education. They are investigating early intervention literacy programs, materials, and resources to help struggling readers and combat student regression. They announced members of the care team are trained in Handle with Care, which includes physical and other de-escalation techniques. Safety and communication concerns were discussed at the parent roundtable, as were transportation concerns for special needs families in need of transportation with kids attending different schools due to programs and placements. Also, if your parent would like to check in on your child in class, under the Every Student Succeeds Act, Title I, Part A, Section 1116, parents are legally permitted to volunteer and participate in their child's class and observe classroom activities. Talking about schools, reminder, thank you to all PTOs, PTAs, and scouts that have signed up. The Clean Community Spring Cleanup is scheduled for Saturday, April 9th, beginning at 9 a.m. And on May 4th, the plastic paper bag ban will go into effect. So you'll need to bring your own reusable bags when you shop. Director Shaw has ordered 5,000 reusable bags for members of the community who are interested. The RP School District will be handing them out to our students and families within the coming weeks, and bags will be available for residents at the Casano Center. Any officials here on the dais interested in obtaining bags to hand out to your constituents, please reach out to myself or Director Shaw at 908-245-0666. On the 28th, we held the Rails to Trails Advisory Committee meeting. We discussed a second bike clinic and helmet giveaway for May, and the committee is working on coordinating a public outreach effort for residents regarding our Rails to Trails initiatives. Another reminder, March is National Nutrition Month and National Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Colorectal cancer is the third most common cancer diagnosis and the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths among both men and women in the United States. It's preventable, and routine screenings are key to early detection. In fact, colorectal cancer is beatable in 90% of cases when detected early. Regular screening beginning at age 45 is the key to preventing colorectal cancer. Resources and more information are on my Facebook page. I'd like to thank all who have reached out to me with their concerns and issues. As you know, I'll always try my best to assist. I can be reached at 862-236-0019 and jrubine@roselleparks.net. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay.
Excellent idea, Jay, with that Keen thing. I just wanted to say that.
I want some bags too.
Yeah.
Reach out. I want some bags. I'm gonna keep my report focused tonight. Grew up in Roselle Park, and I was living in Switzerland and Germany when the first tensions started to arise between the Ukraine and Russia, amongst other, the past 15 years of Russia being a pretty bad actor on the global stage. The narrative that has come from the Russian Federation has been some idea that of an encroachment upon their safety from the expansion of NATO. Well, being in Europe during the time, I know that the actions from the Russian Federation started as a result of talks of expansion of the European Union into the Ukraine. And the European Union has no military. The European Union is a group of European countries that work together to expand civil liberties, to expand free trade, and to support the development of European countries. What this has been and has increased drastically in the last 2 weeks is an attack on the expansion of Western ideals and the expansion of freedom and liberty, and the expansion of the rejection of Soviet-era thinking, where cronyism and myopic thinking reigns. This has been an attack on freedom in the Western world. In the past week or so, we have entered a new phase in history where I don't think anybody knows where it's going to go. I think it's scary times. I think it's trying times. I think it's times that I'm talking about this as mayor in a square mile town in the borough of Roselle Park in the state of New Jersey, because it's going to affect all of us.
Yes.
It's going to affect all of us locally. We see it at the gas pump. We're going to see it further in world trade. And we need to be strong. We need to be strong as a community. We need to be resilient as a community. And we need to be prepared. So part of standing with Ukraine is obviously donating and well wishes where we can, but it's about more than a hashtag. It's about continuing as a country and a municipality to be strong and be supportive of each other and to be that shining beacon on the hill that Ronald Reagan talked about in the 1980s. When we were in the midst of the first Cold War, as we enter what looks to be a second terrible phase of it. And as part of that, while we talk a lot about division and the divisiveness that we've seen over the last 8 years, it's important to know that we still are that beacon in the United States of America. And we represent that little piece of it here in the borough of Roselle Park. And we faced hard times as a municipality and as a country before, and we're going to face them again. We faced them over the last 2 years. And I think that what we need to do as a country, as a state, and as a municipality is be prepared for those times once again, and to stand together, and to stand behind those who want to protect those freedoms and stand against tyranny. And I think it's really important as we continue to see the sanctions and see the geopolitical stage shift, to be ready for change, to be prepared for change, and to be resilient in the face of change. I'm going to make sure that we're here and ready as a borough. And as a community leader, I think it's important to make sure that we have that in mind. So That'll conclude my report for this evening. MayorSig@rosellepark.net if you have any questions for me. With that, may I have a motion to open the public portion on any subject?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody wishing to come up and speak may do so now. I'm seeing no one. People want to keep it under 2 hours. May I have a motion to close the public portion on any subject?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There are no matters for closed session this evening. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good meeting, everyone.